Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my next quote of the day. If you're wondering what place am I at, I'm in Alaska. This is the tundra of Alaska in the fall. In the fall, the tundra turns red. There are hardly no trees, lots of bushes, and the bushes turn yellow and red, and the whole ground will just be red. That's what you see behind me. Beautiful, huh? But it's cold and windy, and I'm all dressed up for the cold, the wind. Okay, here we go. The quote today is on death, and I think that's appropriate on a day when everything behind me is dying, soon will be dead, uh, and it's in its glorious beauty. Death should be a source of glorious beauty, just like the landscape behind me. Millions of people flock to New England in the fall because of the beautiful colors. Death should be a joyful, vibrant, living, joyful, pleasant experience as much as possible. Sometimes it's far from pleasant, but we can take the right attitude towards it. So today's quote on death is from Mahabharata, Mahabharata, Indian, and it's basically a very Hindu quote. And this is what he said: "What is the greatest wonder? Each day death strikes, and we live as though we are immortal. This is the greatest wonder." And it is a wonder. You know, in modern life, probably you and I do everything we can to drive death away from our thoughts, from our vision, from our experience. We put sick people in the hospital. We put old people in homes. We put dead people on the ground. And so we never, it's kind of rare, really, for you and I to experience death, to be around it. Um, I have only I may have only seen one dead body in my whole life, and that's my mother's, because I was there with her when she passed away. We hide from death in every possible way. And, and we convince ourselves that there is no death and we aren't going to die. We live like we're immortal when death is all around us every day. That truly is a wonder. It's, it's unimaginable that a people could live like we do. You know, 100, 200 years ago, someone died at home. 100 years ago, family would be at home and you'd watch them die, or your relatives would be close by and they would die at home and you'd see them. You'd see dead people. You'd see them buried in the ground. I mean, death was a normal experience, and it affected your life, and you made your decisions based on the certainty of the death of everyone around you and my own death as well. So this this thing of living like we will live forever, that is a modern concept that never existed before and shouldn't exist now. That thought should not be a part of our lives. Death is here, it's coming. I'm going to die. And every day I need to become aware and thoughtful of my death. And how will I die? Will I have a good death? Will I have a bad death? Long ago, I devoted myself to pondering death. It just seemed like the smart, wise thing to do, and I was following a spiritual life. I think a life that excludes death, I don't know how it can be spiritual. At any rate, for me, it couldn't be. And so death has become a huge part of my life. And then when my son took his life, death became a huge, enormous thing in my life. Every day, the question of death came up in my mind every morning when I woke up. How could I be alive on a planet on which my son was gone? And so it's been a part of my life for very, very many decades, and then an extreme part of my life since 2011 when my son took his life. The idea that we could try to live good lives without an awareness of death is a wonder. And so don't do it. And I want to give you two examples. First is the Stoics. The Stoic philosophy encouraged its people, its members, the followers of Stoicism, to ponder death every day, to have it in your mind and to ponder it, to contemplate it, to be aware of your death. Not only that, they thought you should contemplate the death of your loved ones, the people around you, that death was such a constant that should always be in your mind. And someone else is the Buddha. So these are different continents, different time frames, very, very different philosophies, and yet they both held this reverence for death. The Buddha would take his followers, and they would go to cemeteries and dig up dead bodies, and they would sit around that dead body, and they would meditate. They would do a death meditation. Death meditation is an important part of Buddhism. And in Buddhism, the awareness of change, that nothing stays the same, and that needs to be a constant background in your thought, and it all ended with death. And so don't get attached to the moment. Buddhism is all about non-attachment. Don't attach to anything in this life. In fact, I think I would be willing to say the only attachment you should have is to non-attachment, to the goal of not being attached to anything at all. Even that's an attachment, but what can you do? You're human, you got a brain, it's got to work. And so another one that I think of often are the Native Americans. I think all Native Americans contemplated death, made preparation for death a constant part of their life. Before modern times, death was all around Native Americans. A lot of their children didn't live very long. That was true nearly everywhere in the whole world, but it was true for them as well. And so they watched their children die, and they watched their friends and relatives get old and die. They watched that, and it was younger, of course, when they died. And just death was a constant part of their life. They lived each day like it was the last, and like death was coming. And so I think that is summarized in the Lakota phrase, "Today is a good day to die." And that's what I would recommend for you. Every morning when you wake up, that you be able to say, "Today is a good day to die." And I will live today so that tomorrow morning I can say, "Today is a good day to die." Live today. Live this week. With luck, if I live another month, if the gods will it, if it's in the cards, whatever phrase, if I'm just really lucky, if I live to be another year older, every morning wake up and think, "Today is a good day to die." And I will be ready at the drop of a hat. Today, if my life is ended today, it was a good day to die. So this quote says, "Each day death strikes, and we live as though we were immortal. This is the greatest wonder." My friends, do not live like you're immortal. Be always aware, in tune to the fact you're dying, and it could be today. And then, boy, your life will improve. I will absolutely guarantee you more happiness and joy in your life if you can do that. Okay, I hope you got something out of this little quote. If you did, then maybe give it the thumbs up button, maybe subscribe to the channel, and why not go all out and tell some family or friends that you found this channel that you like. And I'll see you tomorrow on the next quote of the day. See you then.